During October, Neptune Auto Repair in Pittsburgh is raising money for cancer victims, and you can help. $50 of every brake job and $10 of every oil change will be donated to Angels Among Us. Book your service appointment with Neptune today and help local cancer patients with financial needs.
Hi, everybody. Tom Van Hoy with this edition of the Pitt State Football Showcase, brought to you by Neptune Auto Service. With junior strong safety Jason Peete, 6'1", 191, at Olathe, played at Olathe North. Started his career at Nebraska Omaha as a redshirt in 2010. UNO dropped football, and Jason transferred to Pitt State. Started 11 of 14 games in the national championship year in 2011. Started all 10 last year. Earned honorable mention All-MIAA. And started all 8 games this year for Pitt State as well. Right now, the 5th leading tackler on PSU at 31. 3.5 tackle for loss. 1 block kick, field goal attempt, returned 52 yards for a touchdown. Against Missouri Western last Saturday, Pitt State won a big one on the road then, 34-14. The block, scoop, and score came in the third quarter with Pitt State leading 13-7. Here's Jason on the block and the return against Mo Western.
It went really good. You know, I lined up and I think I got a really good jump on the ball. You know, some people were even saying, you know, I was offsides. I think you go back and look at the film. I think it was a really good jump on the ball. And then, you know, I came close to the hip and seen the blocking point, and I just took it from there and I scooped it up to make sure, none of them could dive on it, and then just kind of ran it back. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, you probably had pretty good speed at that point, right, with everybody chasing you.
Yeah. I was afraid somebody, would just shoot in there and try to, rip it out or something. But I mean, once I got it, I was pretty much headed for the end zone, man.
Is that something you guys, blocking field goals, blocking punts, is that something you guys work on quite a bit at Pitt State?
We put some emphasis on it. We go through, like the special teams game, and we put a lot of emphasis on, just executing in that. And when we have opportunities like that, just trying to take advantage of them and whatnot. So.
How did that block kick change that ball game for you on Saturday?
I feel like it, it gave us a spark, to get us rolling, and I mean, I think it put us, a little bit more, it gave us a little bit more energy to play off of, especially, on defense, because, we was, needing something, huge to happen in the game. And I think from then on out, it just kind of, helped spark, a big victory.
Did it compare at all to that 44-yard interception return you had against Northwest the year before?
I mean, yeah. I feel like it could be comparable to that. I mean, I think it kind of represents our defense, not only for me or anything, but just how our defense plays, because I think our defense has a motor that never gives up, no matter what happens. So.
You mentioned the play of the defense a year ago, obviously against Missouri Western. It didn't go too well. Was the focus the week of practice? You guys obviously very well aware of that and wanted to play better, and you sure did.
Oh yeah. We definitely didn't want to have a relapse of last year. We was ready to come out and do whatever it takes to pretty much make sure none of that happens again. And not only with Mo West, but with any team.
Tom Van Hoy, we're visiting with Jason Peete on our Pitt State Football Showcase, brought to you by Neptune Auto Service. And Jason, is this Pitt State team, different than the year before, the way you bounce back against Mo Western? Every team is different with every year. But yeah, I feel like this team, we got a lot more, I would say, faith in each other, knowing, that we're going to get the job done no matter what it takes. We just got to keep on doing our job and keep on executing what we need to execute. And I think we'll have a lot more success that way, too. Now, you were a young guy at the time. Does it have the feel of the national championship year, that type of team? Yeah, it really does. I mean, I think we're doing things, that
we were doing, you know, the national championship year. You know, we're taking it one step at a time, though. We're not, you know, getting too far ahead, which is exactly what we need to do. And then everybody's, you know, just buying into the program.
So as a strong safety at Pitt State, what's expected of you?
I think I'm expected, you know, like, you know, lead by play, you know, and more or less, you know, handle my responsibilities and kind of just, you know, like never really get, you know, frustrated, you know, as a whole with anything that's going on with our team, and just, you know, pretty much go out there and just execute play after play, you know. And I think coaches give me, you know, that responsibility to, you know, just kind of like, you know, lead by example, more or less, for everybody else on the team. So.
From an experience standpoint, we did mention the number of starts you had. How do you feel now versus when maybe a couple of years ago you first took the field for Pitt State?
Oh man, I feel a lot more confident now. I feel a lot more confidence, a lot more at ease, you know, kind of, you know, on my assignments, you know. And I've had plenty of, you know, practice to get, you know, my technique and everything down. So I mean, it's a lot more, you know, I don't want to say easy going, you know, because everything, you know, is a competition, but it gives me a lot more confidence in what I'm doing. So.
Have to be able to cover in the passing game, and also you have to defend the run, right?
Oh yeah. And strong safety. I mean, you know, I'm able, you know, to help out a lot with both. So.
Do you, as a strong safety, do you ever walk it up? Or are you expected to play maybe a hybrid outside linebacker type situation in the Pitt State defense?
Yeah. I feel like I'm put in that situation sometimes. You know, I feel like, you know, that our defense, you know, we can rotate around and do that, you know, and you know, it all depends, because, you know, one play I can be going man coverage with, you know, a real good receiver, or I could be in and having a gap in the run game, or I could be, you know, coming down on sting pack, you know, taking on a lineman, or I could just be coming on a blitz, you know, and, you know, running at the quarterback or dropping into coverage, you know, and playing over the top coverage. So, I mean, I pretty much, you know, have just, you know, no real, you know, strong tendency of what I do. You know, I pretty much, you know, have to expect to be able to play it all.
Tom Van Hoy today with Jason Peete, Pitt State Football Showcase, brought to you by Neptune Auto Service. You talked about blitzing. You have 3.5 tackle for loss. You like to come from the outside there?
Yeah. It gives me, you know, a little bit more spark, you know, to the game. You know, coming off the edge is, you know, something. You know, you just wait for it to be called upon. You know, we don't get into it a lot. You know, we don't, you know, try to, you know, get out there a lot. But when you do, you know, you kind of get excited for it, and you can kind of see the defense get excited for it. You know.
How do you feel about the secondary in general? You feel like it's a pretty good group back there?
Oh man, we got tremendous ability in the secondary, I feel like. And I mean, not only with, you know, just the people, you know, that start back there, but we have, you know, backups too that we can just throw in there and not miss a beat with them. And it's real nice to have. I think, you know, it's one of the best secondaries I've been around, I think.
How about from a communication standpoint? How important is that, and how do you guys do that in the secondary?
I think from a communication standpoint, we're all on the same page with everything we do. And like Coach Weimer said, you know, he says it a lot. You know, if we have a mistake, but we all are, you know, on the same page with that mistake, we're still all right, because we can all, you know, play pretty much the same angles on everything. So, I mean, even if you know, we call the wrong coverage, but we all know what coverage we're running, I feel like that, you know, we're still good enough, and we still have enough ability to execute to, you know, at the highest level. So,
how big was the win over Western, given the circumstances of losing to Northwest, and that happened the year before, and you didn't make the playoffs after a national championship run? How big a ball game was that for you last weekend?
That was huge. It was huge, and it was a great victory to have, and it's real nice, you know, to be able to bounce back like that. You know, it just shows a lot of character of our team, of, what, we can accomplish and what we're trying to, strive for. And that win just pretty much represents it all, represents, we're trying to, get back. We had a little bump in the road, but we're not going to let it, pull the car over. We're just going to keep on going on our path, So.
I mentioned earlier that you were a red shirt there at University of Nebraska Omaha. They shut the football program down. How do you end up at Pitt State?
I actually got news that the football team had shut down, and then I'd give it about maybe 3 or 4 days, and I got a call from Coach Weimer's and telling me, that they're real interested in me and stuff, and that they were actually coming on campus in a few days. And so I just kind of, it's close to home. I was just like, I'm just going to check them out. And then it just so happened, I came down here on a visit and, thought it was, pretty neat. I knew a few people on the team already, and, I just decided to become a gorilla then, so.
Did you happen to come down on a game day to take a look at what it was like? Because very few places in Division II do you have the game day atmosphere like you do at Pitt State.
Yeah, I never actually got that opportunity to come down and see the game day atmosphere. But we had coaches at my high school that have went here, and we had people that played there before that I knew. And all you hear is just about the game day atmosphere and the gorilla walk and just tailgating and how people strive over Pitt State football down here. And it's something that you hear about, and you kind of you're kind of like, man, I don't know if it gets like that. I don't know if it's that. But then once you actually experience it, it's kind of like it's addicting, because you want more of that, and you want to see more of that. And Pitt State gives you way more than you can handle.
Do you feel like this is a Pitt State team that can make a run if you get into the playoffs this year?
Yeah. I feel like that we can. We have the ability to do tremendous things right now and stuff. Especially if we make it to the extra part of the season. But we just got to keep on taking it 1 week at a time. And crossing those bridges when we get there. And I feel like if we just take it 1 week at a time, one team at a time, one play at a time, I feel like we can do a lot more.
That's Pitt State junior strong safety Jason Peete on this edition of the Pitt State Football Showcase. Brought to you by Neptune Auto Service. Pitt State back home on Saturday afternoon after 3 weeks on the road, taking on Northwestern Oklahoma State in a non-conference game. It's a big game and a big day for Pitt State. Hall of Fame game set to kick at 2 o'clock inside Kearney Smith Stadium. I'm Tom Van Hoy.